Oh, it's an elephant. Gee, for a second I thought it's a kill. It just sounded like...
Exactly how it sounds.
Yeah, no, it sounded like, you know, like something being grabbed by the throat by a leopard. Got some elephants ahead. But speaking of funny sounds, Sandy's asking about the brown hyena. Sandy, your question was the social structures of spotted hyena and brown hyenas, and that's quite a long answer. Maybe I'll get to that a little bit later in the drive. We're going to look at these ellies now. But quickly, Sandy, that was an awesome drive. It was Rex and myself on the drive. Rex and Tamani, he's been working in Sabi Sands for many years. I think it was the first time, and if someone can remember exactly, 12 years or 17 years, the first time in over a decade that a brown hyena had been seen in Sabi Sands. And if we hadn't filmed it, I think most people wouldn't have believed us. So Sandy, great little trip down memory lane that you can still remember that. Oh, no, don't worry guys, don't worry, we're stopping. They've had a swim recently, you can see how nice and dark they are. Just quickly to bring you back to the sound of the elephant. One thing that brown hyenas do that is very different from spotted hyenas. Spotted hyenas have got these different sort of laughing sounds, as we know, and that sort of woo, woo, which is quite a beautiful sound. Brown hyenas, and I haven't mimicked them for a long time, but I used to be able to make their sound almost exactly to the point where I could make it and the brown hyena would stop and look at me. I think I did it that day actually on the drive. Brown hyenas go like this. Very different from spotted hyenas. Oh, okay, we're just having a look. Good afternoon. There we go. Like it. Nice high head posture, ears open, foot up. Confident behavior, even though the elephant wasn't full of confidence while doing it, but he's seen big elephants do it and he's practicing it for down the line with us. Great at the moment. We've got a lot of different little and big elephant herds moving through the area. We all love elephants for many different reasons. Love the big bulls. It's the one thing I miss about being in one area for a long time. You know, when you live in a certain part of a reserve or in a certain area, back with WildEarth days, yeah, Juma prior to that as a guide, in different Pilansberg as well. If you spend extended periods of time in an area, you normally get to know certain elephant bulls, and you get to have a, like we did with Wonky, he was an elephant that Sandy and those of you that have been on many drives with us will remember. You get to know this individual, and because the bulls come back quite often, you can even build up a certain rapport with some of them. But the breeding herds are great just because you've got little ones and big ones and medium ones and wide ones and long ones and short ones. There's always all this different activity in the group. Go a little bit forward because I can see a little one there. I just love little elephants. I think little elephants sometimes think that they are the biggest animals around, and I mean that compared to even the big elephants around them. I think somewhere along the line they must realize, keeping in mind they are intelligent animals, but somewhere along the line they must realize that we intimidate other things, or we don't worry about the other things so much. And surely after the first, second or third time that a baby elephant sees its mother chase away a lion or something like that, they must suddenly go like, okay, that's pretty cool. And then you start seeing them sometimes mock charging everything from birds to, I mean, I've seen them, you know, ferociously attack and try and intimidate, you know, a big tuft of grass or a clump of little bushes. Can entertain themselves very well. This is a different herd from the one we saw on the morning drive. So we saw a very small one this morning, even younger than this. This is the ones I think we saw down at, well, around the camp the last few days. We've had a question there from Sally. Hello, Sally. Sally is joining us from the UK. While we're looking at these elephants, maybe I should move just a little bit. Sally, you're just asking that elephant cow with the tip of her trunk missing, if we've picked a name. We haven't actually picked a name yet. We've been talking about it. We were asking the other day on drive, and we've had everything from sort of Tipsy and Dipsy and a couple of other Ipsies. But I think let's open that packet again. Let's get a couple more suggestions in. We were talking about getting quite a nice sort of regal name. You know, she's obviously had a bit of trauma losing the tip of her trunk. Here's the mother of that little calf, even though that little calf is with another elephant at the moment. They do that very often. Different elephants in the herd will sort of help babysit the youngsters, but this female is clearly lactating at the moment. If she turns a bit, you'll see. Now those sort of airy sounds you would have just heard, it's quite typical with elephants. Also very typical with hippos and with horses and zebras, because they all have the same digestive system. Oh, look at this little guy, he's coming back to us again. What you call a hindgut fermenting system, and it's a different stomach from your antelope. Basically bacteria breaks the food down, and therefore you get all the gas that goes with it. Hey little one. So you can see that youngster is staying close to the sort of, that would be a teenager almost next to him. It looks like a young bull. It's difficult at this young age. Actually, maybe a young female, the teenager, but I think a young bull, the baby. But the point is that they, as I said earlier, they will often help each other with babysitting, looking after each other. Oh guys, I forgot to call this game drive vehicle. Game drive Mova, Elephant Skull Road, pull in please. Oh, there's also one mom pimp on this side. Oh, look at that, 3 of them meeting up, bit of greeting, bit of social interaction. Keep in mind, these guys know each other very, very well. The females in this group mostly will know each other for the rest of their life. The bulls will know the herd for at least 13, 17 years, 18 years, just depending when they leave the herd. So they do know each other very well. Well, we're just looking at these young elephant hanging around together with teenagers. Oh, an interesting question from Gerda. Gerda, you're just wondering if a baby elephant got rejected by its mother, would the other animals in the herd raise it? Interesting the way you're asking the question there. Rejection is something that I'm sure does happen. You know, in an infinite universe, everything happens an infinite number of times. So it is certainly possible, but it's not likely. Elephants are very, very family orientated, very close within their family structure. So I don't think it's typical or likely even that a calf will be rejected. But it is possible, however, that the mother might get injured or dies from some reason, and the calf, is a very small one, might find itself alone. And then I know of cases where it's been documented that calves have been raised by the group, especially if they're a little bit bigger. I mean, if they're 6-8 months old, they could possibly survive just on food. But I also know of cases where little calves have been abandoned by the herd, but that was the cases I know of was under very dry conditions, so when there's severe stress on resources for the rest of the herd. But I certainly think that if for some reason a young calf was alone, there would be a plan made for them within the herd. Normally there might be 1 or 2 other females that are lactating as well, and what you call allosuckling, which is something that's very common with lions, for instance. Allosuckling, oh, look at those two, bit of interaction there. Allosuckling refers to one female suckling cubs or youngsters that are not necessarily her own, and I'm sure that could occur with elephant as well. Those three are sort of interacting a little bit, babysitting a bit, so that the big female on this side, who's the mum, the lady over here, she can get a bit of feeding done without the youngster around her. Awesome. We've got, I love it when a good plan comes together, as I think Hannibal used to always say in the A-Team.